He's been out. I'll read them off of the board. Behind on your 2023 plan. We're giving you a chance to
It's not recording.
catch up.
It's not.
We have our catch up with this.
It was right here, I don't know.
There's one behind the. Food pantry.
Okay, anyway,
Saying before.
for the next 3 Sundays.
You have time to.
On January 21st is our annual congregational meeting. Where members will vote on the 2024 budget and church council. If you're not a member and want to be before then, see Sandy Self. Waving the hand of peace. It is important for us to do our best to keep everybody safe. There is definitely an uptick of COVID cases in our area.
Savior tribe upon whose ancestral land we worship today. We recognize with gratitude the Lasino elders.
stream. Oh, yes, oh, my steps are heaven, so dear, so dear.
Welcome to the United Church of the Valley. As a progressive Christian community, we believe in following the teachings and path of Jesus that can lead to an experience of the sacred, the oneness, and the unity of all life. We also affirm that the teachings of Jesus provide but one of many ways to experience the sacred. We can draw from diverse sources of wisdom on our spiritual journey. So wherever you are on our journey, you are welcome here. We know that the way we behave towards one another is the fullest expression of what we believe. Welcome you who are here in the building, and welcome those of you who are joining us online.
Today we continue that welcome. I'm going to move all the way up here. We continue that welcome by welcoming a new member to our church. And before I invite Nick to join me, I just want to say that the invitation to join is always open to everyone. And if there is anyone here who hasn't joined us before and would like to today, you are welcome to come forward also. Nick, will you join me? And we welcome Charlie too, here to give Nick some support as we share in this covenant. And Nick, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I would like you to just answer with, I will. The dream of the original founding members of UCV were for a community of faith where God's people would embrace all persons with love and dignity, learning to celebrate diversity as God's very image. We continue that dream as a congregation joined in progressive Christianity as witnesses to God's inclusive love, as a refuge for many beaten down by religion, and as a place where matters of justice and peace are taken seriously. As we sojourn together, we find people, and people find us, and we join together in the hard work and the joyous work of life together. Will you, Nick, join us in continuing the work of Jesus Christ in this world through teaching and preaching the love of God?
I will.
Will you join us in seeking ways to love and understand all people?
I will.
Will you join us in being open and affirming, welcoming persons of all sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expressions into the full life and ministry of the United Church of the Valley?
I will.
Will you join us in establishing the ways of peace, hope, healing, and justice?
I will.
Will you join us in cooperating with any and all who seek the same goals for this world? Okay, congregation, it is your turn. Congregation, will you welcome Nick with joy into the common life of the congregation? Will you encourage and support him in continuing the work of Jesus Christ in this world through teaching and preaching the love of God? If so, please say we will.
We will.
Will you encourage and support him in seeking ways to love and understand all people?
We will.
Will welcoming persons of all sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expressions into the full life and ministry of United Church of the Valley?
We will.
Will you encourage and support him in establishing the ways of peace, hope, healing, and justice?
We will.
Will you encourage and support him in cooperating with any and all who seek the same goals for this world?
We will.
Hard work, the good work, the joyous work continues. Welcome, Nick, and can we affirm Nick with a round of applause?
Thank you, Charlie.
Officially official.
Alongside the candles of hope, peace, and joy, this week we light a candle of love in the midst of shadows of hate and difference, and when anxiety calls, the chains of fear.
Rancor and ruin seems to rule the day.
The greatest commandment of all is to love God with everything we've got, and to love our neighbors as ourselves.
Maya Angelou says,
It is only love which sets us free.
welcome, liberating love, light the way.
Let's stand and sing the first hymn.
Read your script, Bailey.
Okay.
This is the light the candle.
Yes, beforehand.
I have a lion, what else did?
Huh?
I have a lion, what else did?
You're not allowed to do that.
Sounds like we
You're gonna put them out. So I'm gonna put you here. And
Light the candle
you're
of
say
love.
the smoking out candles, and you take this.
We come to this Advent, we come to this season of Advent and gather around the wreath to light candles. This wreath reminds us of the circle of our human community and the lights that illuminate the many ways in which we bring ourselves to the incarnation, God's longing for presence, human and holy Emmanuel, God with us and God coming to us.
We remind ourselves that there has been much light in the world that has been extinguished, and we acknowledge that we have let it happen. We remember hopes that have been extinguished.
We can barely remember a time of peace. We have tried to protect our own joys and ignored the sorrows of others. We have let love go out and have not even lifted a hand to protect the flame.
Now we have not fresh wicks, but crumbled ones. And yet we name and claim this truth. God gives us courage and compassion to relight hope, peace, joy, and love in our lives and our times.
We are empowered by the advent of Emmanuel, God with us, because of whom Isaiah prophesies, no bruised reed would be broken, nor dimly burning wick quenched, until justice fills. Until justice fills all that lives and grows. We light the candle of hope for earth and the air and seas, for the creatures dwelling among us and the plants alive with God's Spirit. We light the candle of peace in the midst of violence and conflict, of fear in home, discord in family and work, terror in the street, controversy that makes us strangers from friends, wars that kill God's precious children, and we say that peace is stronger. We light the candle of joy because we believe that joy, not anger or fear, is the root of all justice. We light the candle of love because we have met angels and babies, caregivers and wanderers, and we have received light in our lives that we must share with the world. Oh, here it is. Okay. Emmanuel, we
Celebrate the advent of the past with its precious words and traditions.
and
We light an advent of the new hope for all seasons of your children.
Amen.
Amen. In those days Mary set out and went in haste to a Judean town in the hill of the country, where she entered the house of Zachariah and greeted Elizabeth. And when Elizabeth heard Mary's greeting, the child leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit and exclaimed with a loud cry, "Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb." And why is this happening to me? That mother of the Lord comes to me, for as soon as I heard the sound of your greeting, the child in my womb leaped for joy. And blessed is she who believed that would be a fulfillment of what was spoken to her by the Lord.
It's gonna be one of those days.
It's gonna be I think it's the, quite possibly that the sound from the computer is not making it to the sound system. Love Exquisite Freedom by Maya Angelou. We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delight, live coiled in shells of loneliness until love leaves its high holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives, and in its train come ecstasies, old memories of pain, of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity in the flush of love's light. We dare be brave. And suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be. Yet it is only love which sets us free.
Let's begin.
Sunday is the Sunday of Love, the fourth Sunday of Advent. And I have to say, I especially love that I belong to a church that rolls with the punches. When the person in charge of doing the service is making mistakes. And leading others astray. I can feel the love and the grace and the forgiveness from you guys. As I was thinking about the Advent wreath and our 4 weeks of Advent, it occurred to me that this week, the week of love, is really the foundation for the other three. Because if we have love for one another and love each other for who that person is, we have reason to hope. We have reason to hope in humanity. We have reason to hope that we can get through anything together. And if we truly have love for other people, people that we don't know, we would live in peace with everyone, and we would know peace in our time. And if we have love in our hearts, we can't help but be filled with joy, because love is the source of joy, and love brings us joy. And so I see love as the foundation foundation of everything that we have been celebrating this Advent, everything that we have been praying for this Advent, everything that is and is not yet this Advent season. In order to be filled with that love, sometimes we need our love reinvigorated. We need to feel that love coming to us to replenish our supply and reignite that candle of love within us. And so today, I want to ask you, what is it that makes you feel loved? And I am going to invite you, as you feel the Spirit move you, to come forward, and we're going to just go, do you think, Lynn, can we be around that much?
Yeah,
Do you
that's
think
fine.
yeah. Just come and stand anywhere behind the choir mic, and let us know in just 2 or 3 words what makes you feel loved. And since I'm leaving you with a question, and I've had time to think about it, hopefully you have too this week, I'll just go ahead and start. And what makes me feel loved, honestly, is words of love, words of encouragement.
What makes me feel loved is every time I go and I lay down in bed with my mom in the morning, just being around family and friends, whenever me and my friends send each other like memes and things that make each other laugh. And I feel loved every time I see that she liked something that I sent her, or when I like something she sent me, and it just makes me feel really loved.
I think something that makes me feel loved, something that makes me feel loved is whenever I'm having a bad day or something, the fact that some people that I don't even know will come up to me and be like, hey, you look down, are you okay? And at my school, this happens a lot, where a lot of kids and a lot of groups are rivals with each other. But there's always like that one group that separates everyone from the fight. And it's just nice to know that they're the ones stopping the fights. And the fact that when you don't even know the person, they just come and could have saved you a lot of trouble.
My cats.
Is it love or loved?
What makes you feel loved?
Loved.
Or loved?
Well, when people feel comfortable around me and they can just be people instead of like entertainment. Like when you can have some silences and when you can feel okay to say, oh, I forgot this, or oh, that made me feel sad. Like, I just love people who are vulnerable. That sounds good.
Well, what makes me feel loved is to know that, well, in a lot of sense, I have a bunch of friends that call me the mother of the group, which I'm always caring for them. So knowing that they know and care for me too is what makes me happy and loved.
So special.
So, if you know me, I see things that need to be done and then I just throw myself in. And so I feel really loved when I throw myself into situations and then other people see that I'm struggling by myself and come alongside me and support the things that I'm doing. And I feel that a lot here at this church.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. I feel loved simply by coming here and feeling the energy and the support from everyone, like no judgment. And isn't that what Christianity is? Many people, see the negative side of social media. For me, the positive side would be simply the friends or people that we follow here. And if I don't follow you now, please request me because I would love to, but I love seeing the family things, when I post things that are special or mean something to me, and then I'll see that somebody here likes it or loves it. It warms my heart, and I feel loved from my UCV community. Thank you.
You don't have to. The love that comes from this church, and some of the people haven't heard from me during the week or something. Some of us have daily phone calls, and I just, living by myself like that, it's just warm fuzzies. It just warms my heart to be part of this congregation.
Another thing I want to share is that I joined this church a couple months ago after looking up LGBTQ-friendly churches, because one of my biggest fears was coming to a church and being told that I'm not a child of God for who I am. And I was worried I'd have to find a couple, but this was the first church I found, and I came here and it was immediately asked my pronouns, and everyone respects them. And whenever someone messes up, they apologize and they correct themselves, and I love that I don't have to try and correct people as much as I feel like I have to everywhere else. And I just feel so loved and so happy that I'm fully accepted here. So thank you all.
Lucas, you don't want to?
It warms my heart to hear so many of you say that you feel loved by this congregation and this church. And I do too. And you are all loved. Each and every one of you are loved. For the gifts that you bring, for just your smile, for just your presence, for just your visit here with us today. You are all loved. You are loved by this congregation. You are loved by the God of your understanding. You are surrounded and uplifted with love. Amen. Oh man, you've got one.
May I have one more?
Yes, you may.
Yeah. I've spent my life looking for churches that accepted me as a lesbian woman, and I've found churches that tolerated me as a lesbian, and where some of the people accepted me. This is the first church I ever found where I was openly wanted as a member. Not because I was a lesbian, but with full and complete acceptance. And not only that, but I am accepted and loved in my strangeness and my grumpiness and my isolativeness and all of the things that kind of are a part of who I am. And I feel still very much appreciated and wanted and loved with all of that. So thank you.
Okay, I now have to add something.
Bring on the love.
I love that. I loved my strangeness. Just amazing, because that is, you don't have to be anything, when you no longer have to be anything for me, I am free, that you can just be who you are. And I just wanted to share one thing that was shared with me by another therapist so many years ago. And it actually, it's being loved not by an outcome, but loved because you see the effort. And Charlie, you touched on it. It's like there, because when you see somebody stumbling all over trying to do something, for you, it doesn't really, the outcome isn't the deal. It's to understand that somebody is trying so hard. And Maureen did something, it was a few years ago, and she needed to tell me something. You know how hard it is with your spouse when you need to ask for change? Okay, all of us, right? Got that. And she was standing, I remember I was in the kitchen and she was in the hall, and she was just like tripping all over her words. She's like, and my heart flooded in that moment, like just with this huge warmth, because I knew she was trying to ask me for something.
and she was trying so very hard not to hurt my feelings. And I felt loved in that amazingly. I don't know what she asked me, and I probably still do it, whatever. Probably nodding her head. But I just felt so loved in that effort. So thank you to all of us who try so very hard.
Any more left?
People on Zoom.
Oh, thanks.
Jen says that she feels loved when she's able to serve others in small ways and in bigger ways.
At the United Church of the Valley, we seek to be inclusive of all people. We strive for peace and justice among all people. We strive to protect and restore the integrity of our earth. And we commit to a path of lifelong learning, compassion, and love. We invite you to be a part of this mission, and we thank you for your generosity. There is a collection plate in the organ for those who are here in person. And of course, all of us can make a donation to our website, ucvchurch.org, where you can use either Venmo or PayPal. And of course, you can always mail checks to our mailing address, P.O. Box 1312, Murrieta, California. Oh, I have an insert in here.
That's pronounced Eddie. Okay, so Shireen asked me to help her talk a little bit about everyone's favorite condiment, ketchup. And this is, as we are reaching the end of the year, our opportunity to help the church catch up. And maybe your own giving, your own plans, your own best intentions for you to catch up on your giving to United Church of the Valley. So I wrote out this big long thing about reasons why, reasons why we should do this, and why the church is important, and we don't need organized religion, but we kind of do, not for what you think, but if you've been awake for half the service, then you've gotten double the reasons you need. Just listening, right? Sandy mentioned the original dream of the founders that we are still participating in. Sandy mentioned the reasons people feel loved and how many people spoke about the church's part in that. That's why we need an organized, functioning church, right? Because whether we call it the world or the empire or the system or just the way things are, outside it's destructive. It's a destructive place, and it beats people down, and it beats you down, and it beats me down. And we need something like this organized, functioning little church. Even if the service doesn't quite go the way we want sometimes, we need that to sustain life. We need it to sustain life. We need it to be able to create new ways of being, right? Institutions of mutual care, and not just being a place that's against things like war and poverty and injustice. That's important, and we solidly are. But also being part of a movement for different ways of living together, things to replace that, right? Things like peace, true peace, wholeness, sustainability, justice, right? And at its best, we are part of that, creating a shared life where everyone can experience wholeness, that wholeness that at least 3 of the Dunlops spoke about. We'll throw the cats in, 4 of the Dunlops. Where, there's a genuineness and a vulnerability. I really appreciate that that I never have to say I'm doing fine when I'm not. And that has given me, being able to do that here, has given me the ability to do that in other places. To be able to say, when I'm at school, not so great, instead of, oh, fine, right? That's you know, what we're about. And that's why we need your help to catch up.
And so, like last week, I'm going to give everyone the opportunity to bid on this and catch up on your pledges. And I also have pledge cards for 2024 in case somebody needs one who hasn't filled one out. So how about if we start with $5 for this
So
job?
let me say this, just yesterday, we were looking over, my wife, as you know, is very organized. We were looking over our taxes and looking over giving. And, you know, this is one of those last times to get that charitable giving in before the end of the year, right? Render unto Caesar. So perhaps, right, because you can get a receipt for this.
Yes, we can provide a receipt for the
Okay.
donation.
$5, started at $5, anyone have $5 for, we've got $5 here, we got, do I hear 10? $10, do I hear 15? $15 for this jar of ketchup, 20? 25, 25, we got 25, do I hear 30? 30, do I hear 35? 35 for this wonderful jar of ketchup, to help the church catch up. We're standing at 30 right now, do I hear 35? 35 for this jar of ketchup. Do I have $40 for this wonderful jar of,
It's Heinz no less. It's like top shelf.
and as you see, it has to be Heinz. They couldn't lie to you if it was not true. Okay, that would be false advertising. It has to be Heinz. Do I hear $35? Or are we at 35? Do I hear 40? Do I hear $40?
Come on.
$40! We got $40. Do I hear 45? 45 for this wonderful jar of Heinz ketchup. You get to keep the jar.
What does the jar look like? Describe the jar.
This jar has measuring marks on the side. This jar measures in not only American standard ounces, but also the worldwide respected milliliters. This jar has a label on the bottom to remind you that this is a canning jar. This jar was made in the worldwide empire of jar making, China. This jar has a tight-fitting lid, and this jar will let you know if it has been opened.
Trying to make some amazing things, including my niece. So.
Oh, there we go. So we are at, I believe, 40.
I think you should
Is that where we're at, 40?
I think you should go first.
40?
I'll let you
45?
go. Okay, 45.
45. Do I hear $50 for this jar? Not just a jar.
50. It's over here.
$50. Yeah, $50.
It's a big more big
55. Do I hear 60? 60. Do I hear 65 for this wonderful jar?
75.
75 for this jar.
We don't have a problem.
Many packets of ketchup in here.
Going
Many
once.
packets of ketchup.
150.
$200 for this jar and all the ketchup included.
Going once.
Going twice.
Sold!
We're donating back the ketchup.
I'm gonna just leave this up here for you guys to.
Now, if that is not a different way of being in the world and living life, then I don't know what is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're selling your car.
While we're still in the mood to be giving, if you saw this today, you know, one of the things I think about being loved is being asked when there's a need. And so if anybody can help, obviously this is a very timely thing because they've got to do the cremation and get it back, get the body back to the ground. So see me afterwards if you can help. Now, I'm done. I'm done.
Now it is the time that we pass the peace as an act of forgiveness and reconciliation. Jesus told his disciples that before they come to be reconciled with God, they would first reconcile with each other. And so during this time of sharing Christ's peace, we are encouraged to seek and to offer forgiveness. And when we turn to those around us with the greeting, "May the peace of Christ be with you," we respond, "And also with you." We symbolize our unity, even in the midst of divisions. And when we pass the peace, we practice God's call to make every effort to maintain the bond of peace. So let us wave our peace to each other. May the peace of Christ be with you. It's time to eat, Sam.
As we make our way to Christ's table at our communion time, when we remember Jesus, as he asked us to do, it struck me that his life should not have happened. By the religious laws of the day, an unwed mother, a woman who wasn't married and found herself to be pregnant, could be stoned to death. And so it's a miracle that he was even born. And I got to thinking about all of the children of the world. We call our babies our miracles, don't we? And what would have happened if some of those miracles were never born, or some of those young lives were snuffed out way too soon? Made me think about my favorite Christmas song, which is by the Goo Goo Dolls, and it's called Better Days. And it has a line in it, a verse in it that goes something like this: "And there's one poor child to save this world. And there's 10 million more who probably could if we'd all just stop and say a prayer for them." And so as we sing our communion hymn, I invite you to sing it as a prayer for all of the children of the world, that they may be safe and loved and at peace. Amen. I also invite you to get your elements online as we pass them here. Let's take and share the bread of heaven. Let us take and share the cup of life. Will you join me in our unison prayer? Holy God, we have been your bread and our wine. We have been touched by your Spirit, and we are thankful. Still speaking God, as we go from this place to the church in the world, may the boldness of your Spirit transform us. May the gentleness of your Spirit lead us. May the gifts of your Spirit be our guide and strength for today and the days to come. Now we're going to sing together, You Are the Face of God. And I'm going to invite you to go ahead and stand if you are able or interested. And join us in a little circle, if we could just kind of circle up. And I just realized we never passed out candles because that was one of the things that I was going to get ready this morning. So while you circle, I'm going to see if I can find them. Yeah.
I thought Tandy was, I thought Tandy was gonna set this up, but I guess I will. For all during Advent, we've been recognizing and remembering that the face of God is all around us. And when we remember that, the world changes. And we also need to remember that the face of God is us too. And that makes us change. So as a little reminder, we have a little special gift for you as we sing this song. I hold you in my
Tonight, we will celebrate the darkest night. Tonight, we will celebrate the darkest night. And into that darkest night, the light of the world was born. Jesus was born to bring light into the darkness. And Jesus comes to us tonight to bring light in our darkness. He was the light of the world. And for that light, the darkness shall never overcome it. And so we light our Christ candles. And for this light to overcome the darkness, We must all shine our own light. And so we pass the light of Christ to ignite that light within us, that we may share it with others.